everybody, it's Dan Z from Coffee with Kenobi. Now, normally, this segment of the Coffee with Kenobi book study is on our Facebook Live, but we're changing things up a little bit. Facebook Live is going to be more about news and top fives and other little things that may pop up, but we're still going to do the book study. It's just going to be video exclusive here. So today we're going to do Chapter 9 of the Rise of Skywalker novelization by Ray Carson. If you're interested in the first 8 chapters, just look at the past 8 weeks of Coffee with Kenobi's Facebook Live, which can be found on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Instagram. So the main thing about Chapter 9, honestly, was the fact, basically this is a chapter where they take C-3PO's memory and erase it to find out about the Sith Wayfinder and where the Emperor is. And of course he won't read the Sith language, he's forbidden to because of his programming. So Babu Frick goes in there with the help of Zori and Poe's former friends, allies now, I guess, and they do it. And I was particularly moved by Rey, and her challenge was seeing this because she thought, I just lost Chewbacca, I'm going to lose Rey, and I'm going to lose C-3PO. I don't think I can do that, so she literally can't watch. But at the beginning of the chapter, what I think is important is she listens to the language that Zori and Babu Frick are speaking, and she loves it, and she wishes she could take the time to learn it. I think that's important from a literary perspective, the importance of language, the importance of bracing other cultures. You don't always see that, and I think it's really, really cool that it's actually a thing on it in this novel. It's whenever you see in literature the emphasis of language or other cultures, that's something to take note of because it means there's a lot going on that is about diversity and embracing cultures and languages and things that are different from what we're used to. It's really, really key, really important. I always like seeing that in literature. Another thing that doesn't happen in the movie that happens in this book is Kylo Ren confronts Chewbacca, who's of course been captured and is in Kylo's Star Destroyer. And there's this moment where when he sees Chewbacca, he takes off Chewbacca's cuffs with the Force and he drops his lightsaber and he says, hey, he doesn't say, hey, he's a little more serious than that. He says, I know you want to kill me because of what I did to Han Solo. Now is your chance. And Chewbacca's smart, and he restrains himself, but he's really angry, and you can tell in his growl and the way he's looking at Kylo. Then Kylo has this moment where he remembers thinking of Chewbacca's Uncle Chewie and how Chewie taught him to use a blaster, and he remembers Chewbacca cradling him as a little boy, and it's just like, that is so insanely heartbreaking. And then he forces Chewbacca to tell him where Rey is, which again, none of this is in the movie, and I'm not sure how it would have played in the movie, if it would have played at all, but nevertheless, it's not in there. And maybe it would have slowed things down, I'm not sure, but certainly adds a little bit more pathos to the relationship between Kylo Ren and Chewbacca, which is largely absent in the movies. So I think it's important to notice he eventually feels very bad about what happens and taking memories from Chewbacca against his will. And I think it's important. It humanizes Ben, or humanizes Kylo. He's not Ben yet, but it does start to kind of put seeds there for that. Maybe it would have been beneficial to have that in the film. I'm not really sure. I think, again, if there's one thing that I think The Rise of Skywalker did right, it was Ben Solo and his redemption. So certainly no complaints there, but it is something to take note of. And at the end is when Poe, he tries to recruit Zori, but then he realizes, because Leia tells him, he remembers, always recruiting. You should always be recruiting. But he realizes it's not as easy as Leia makes it to be, and he knows he's got a long way to go. And they also bring up again the notion that, why at the end of The Last Jedi or the Battle of Crate in World, why did anybody show up? Why did anybody come? But it's been talked about in Resistance Reborn, and it's talked about in this novel a few times. Everyone is afraid of the First Order, so they're probably not going to say it. And also the First Order has set up different ciphers throughout the galaxy that have cut off communication, so maybe the call never actually got through in the first place. Very important stuff. Interesting to the actual moments in this novel and the overall arching realization that it's just us. And then Zori says something great, and I'm going to leave you with this. Zori says, that's what they want you to think. They want you to think that we're alone, but there are actually much more of us than there are of them. And I think that's a great metaphor, too. Often in our darkest times when we're worried about something, you feel like you're alone, but you're really not. And one thing that Star Wars does, maybe as well as anything, is they teach the importance of community and family and working together, even in spite of the oppression that you face, which I think is Really, really great, really, really powerful. So again, thank you for joining me on this quick little video. We're going to do our Coffee with Kenobi book studies this way. This way, I think it's going to be more effective. On Facebook Live when we do it, it's just not the same because I want the conversation to be more steady. And it's hard to do a book study without being in a classroom, but this is the next best thing. So you can listen to it, watch it whenever you get the chance. So for next week, be sure to read chapter 10 of The Rise of Skywalker. This is Danzy. I will see you next time.